You're listening to the LSG Sports Network, the authority on Texas high school football. Welcome to the Texas High School Football Coaches Show on Lone Star Gridiron. I'm Chris Daly, and it's my belief that the men that make up the fraternity of Texas high school football coaches are much more than a bunch of thick-necked guys with whistles. They do so much more than teach technique and the X's and O's of football. They take young boys and change them into young men of character. They get kids to believe in themselves, to trust others, and to put others ahead of themselves. Texas high school football coaches are unique in how they impact the lives of these athletes as well as the generations those kids touch. In this show, I sit down with a different Texas high school football coach each time and learn about them. Not their record, not their on-field accomplishments, but who they are and what they believe and what it means to be part of the greatest sport in the greatest state. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Texas High School Football Coaches Show. I'm your host, Chris Daly. And this is Season 6, Episode 3. Today I have a student of the game, a teacher of the game, one could say a professor of the game. Yes, a national speaker and spokesman for Glazier Clinics. He teaches all over. He has so many books. He literally has written the book on just about every type of offense or defense. Yes, I will introduce you to Jerry Campbell right after this. When all things are equal between coaches and players and situations, what is the big difference in a winning program and a losing program? Well, I tell you, I think a big factor is the information you have available as a coach. And our sponsor, Optimum Grading, can do so much to help you have that information. They provide a comprehensive, fully customizable web application designed from a coach's perspective to analyze the players based on what the coach is teaching. By default, players are evaluated from their alignment, assignment, technique, effort, and production result. And through reports, a coach can understand where the player is exceeding and where he is struggling. But as I talked with the founder, what I discovered was what makes this system different than any other tracking system is that it is so customizable. You can decide what's important to you, and you only have to track those factors that you find important. This powerful platform integrates play data with the coach's input on every single play and ultimately allows the coach to run detailed reports to uncover how the players are performing overall and in situational football. It's really good stuff. Check it out, OptimumGrading.com. I tell you, this is a tool that will separate winners from losers.
I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Power Plus Mouth Guard. What is that? Well, it's a mouth guard that helps you perform better and also increases your strength, your balance, your stamina, reduces the G-forces which are found in concussions. And the way it does that is it aligns your jaw properly. So this mouthpiece not only protects you, but it's going to help you breathe better. And that's really what it comes down to. It puts your airways in a better alignment, and so that helps you breathe better. That helps you have better balance, helps you have better stamina, the more oxygen getting to your brain, the more oxygen getting to your muscles, and that's where this mouth guard can help you. So you can check them out online. Just go to powerplusmouthguard.com. All you have to do is hit / and shop, and it'll show you all the mouthpieces they have. But check them out and check out the website. Dr. Michael Hutchinson is the one who has designed this new technology, and I really do think it is very forward-thinking in helping reduce concussions, in helping you be more alert late in the game when you're going to be tired, your muscles are tired, lack of oxygen is starting to affect you. This mouth guard will help you in getting more oxygen to you. So check them out, powerplusmouthguard.com.
All right, everybody, join me in welcoming Coach Jerry Campbell to the show. Jerry, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Everything going okay out here in California, but I miss Texas.
I love it, and Texas misses you. So let's start with that. Where did you grow up?
I was born in Abilene, Texas. Yeah, all my relatives, everybody are out that way. And when my dad got out of he was a Marine, fought in the South Pacific and the Korean War. When that was all over, then he and his brother moved to California because that's where they got released out of, was San Diego, and they liked it out here.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a small logging town in Northern California.
It's nice. And did you, I assume, play football there?
Yeah, I played football at Willis High School, and then I played my JC football at Butte College, and then my 4-year football at Chico State, which is located in Northern California.
Nice. And what was it that motivated you to get into coaching?
Oh, gosh. Well, when I was in high school, I knew I was going to go into this because I grew up in a very poor family. And I found one thing that was able to get me moving down the road, and it was football. And I knew from the get-go that's what I was going to do. So
nice. And so early on, I assume you found some coaching mentors? Yeah,
my JV football coach in high school, Larry Davis, was my inspiration, and he's the one that motivated me, along with a couple of the guys that I played for in college.
And then I guess take me through that, how you first got into your first coaching job.
Well, I was playing at Chico State, and at the end of my practices my senior year, I would leave and go help coach Pop Warner football.
Yeah. And
then when I was done there, graduated at Chico State and everything, and did my student teaching, I got accepted over at Orland High School in Orland, California. And that's where I went and did my student teaching. I coached JV there the first year, varsity the next year. Then I went and GA'd at Chico State for several years. And my career has taken me several different places, trying to, I was into wanting to be a college coach, so I followed that a long time. And
well, let's talk about that. Let's go stop by stop, each of the positions you had.
Okay. I was at Chico State. I've got an interesting path to follow here.
Yeah.
I was at Chico State coaching, and then a fraternity brother of mine who was in the insurance business introduced me when I was at GA, and you didn't make any money or anything. So I, at school, sold insurance to college students here at Chico State, and it went so well that a company out of Dallas, Texas, Southwest Insurance Company, said, "Hey, we want to bring you to Dallas, Texas." So they brought me to Dallas, Texas, and had me go recruit the nation, working with different agencies. Then they sent me to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and all these places. While I was there, I still helped coach youth football. And then they moved me to St. Louis, where I did it there. They moved me to El Paso, Texas, where I did it there. And then I decided to move to Colorado, and I coached at Boulder High School for 1 year. And after that was over, I went up to Western State College and coached for a year. And then I got hired at Butte College, which is in Northern California, where I played as their defensive coordinator. At the end of that year, I got offered a job at Cal State Northridge, which is down in Los Angeles, as their defensive line coach and their recruiting coordinator, which I did for several years. Well, I happened to fall in love with a gal that was there also, and she was from Texas and decided to move back to Texas. And I said, you know what, I'm going with you.
Yeah.
So that was, where Dickinson, Texas is, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's where I moved to. So I worked 1 year at South Houston High School in the Pasadena School District. And this became very interesting because, being out here in California and spread offenses were starting to bloom and those type of things, and I was a part of that. And when I was at South Houston High School, they were so used to being more of a wing T team. Yeah. But when Dick Nance hired me as his offensive coordinator and I went to the spread, those guys didn't buy in very well. So you know what I did? I took a complete year off, went back to Chico State, got my master's degree, and I studied every rule that's ever been devised. I went all the way back into 1610, and when games and things started to evolve out of China. Yeah. And I went through evolution of that until I got to 1869 and when football started. So I have taken every rule that's ever been devised because I'm an offensive line coach. And what they didn't buy into, because in 1985, the rules allowed the hands in advance of the body. So I bought into that. And I, there at South Houston High School, was teaching zone blocking. And they didn't have no clue what that was. So I took a year off, did my master's thesis on the evolution of football. And as soon as that was, so I did that. When that was done, I got on at Texas A&M Kingsville because I left South Houston, went back to California to get it out of Chico State, my master's degree, came back, got on as a GA at Texas A&M Kingsville. And after that, I got hired as the head football coach at Orland, California, went back to where I first started from because they hired me. And lo and behold, Ron Harm calls me and said, "Hey, we want you to be our offensive line coach because Juan Castillo, you probably have heard of him.
Yeah.
He was the offensive line coach there, and I got to know him pretty well, and he went on into the NFL. And then Ron Harm calls me and says, "Hey, we'd like to have you as our offensive line coach." So I got my wife, moved back to Kingsville, Texas as the offensive line coach. In the ripe age of 45, I had my first kid. Well, I was never home, so I decided, you know what I'm going to do? For my daughter, I'm going to make sure when she goes to bed at night, she's going to see me and my wife. So I went back to coaching high school football, so I left. This is quite the story. So I left and took a job at Donna High School in South Texas.
Ah, the Redskins.
Yeah, the Redskins. That's exactly right. Then the next thing you know, I get offered over at Edinburg North.
Yeah.
So I went to Edinburg North. You know how coaches travel around in Texas. Yeah. So I go to Edinburg North. So next thing I know, I'm going to Fort Worth, Texas, up to Western Hills High School. So I go up to Western Hills High School. Next thing I know, I get offered the offensive coordinator's position at Westwood High School in Round Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was with Mike Spradlin there, which I really enjoyed. And, you know, our time there together went very well. And next thing I know, I get hired. So that goes well. He moves on. The head coach moves on to University of Houston. And then I took the head coaching job down in Victoria, Texas.
Yep.
And down in Victoria, which I was down there almost 4 years. And then I had a little new superintendent comes in, brings his own coach in. But I had a little bout with what they thought was cancer. So they sent me to MD Anderson, Houston, Texas.
Right.
So they diagnosed this, and they said it's probably going to come back again because it was kind of a rare form. So you know what? I thought I better get my family close to home. So I got offered the head coaching job at Clovis High School in Clovis, California.
Right.
And then there was a guy at Clovis West who came to Clovis West High School from Texas, Coach Kenny. He was a coach that he got. This was national news back in the day. You ever heard of the coach there in Texas that got shot by a parent?
Yep, everybody has, at least here.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he was here, and the superintendent of school wanted me to come over and be with him because out here it was kind of strange because he being from Texas and all these guys here from California weren't buying into a Texas football coach. So the superintendent sent me over with with Coach Kenny.
Yeah.
And one thing has led to another, and I've been here 17 years, and it's been great. But at the end of this school year, we're moving back to Texas.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. You know, I've been coaching for 51 years, and I hope I've got 51 years left, and I stay very active with this.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Well, so tell me from a Californian Texan back to Californian, soon to be back to Texan, what do you see as the differences between, because we hear so much about Texas being the gold standard, and what are the differences that you see?
Well, you know, the biggest thing here's what I like about here in the state of California, once you've been at the school, wherever you're at for 2 years, they can't get rid of you.
Wow. Yeah. That's
great. So you're coaching with guys that you try to, hey, you know what? We got a meeting today. And some of those guys say, well, I don't know if I want to go today. I'm busy. Well, in the state of Texas, that ain't going to work.
Right.
You got a meeting, you're going to the meeting, because I like the fact that in Texas that, a lot of it is based upon the scoreboard, and the organization and those types of things. So where I'm at is probably one of the better schools in the state of California because of facilities and everything that we have here. I'm at a very successful high school and stuff, but my daughter teaches in Frisco, Texas, and our son lives in Austin, Texas, and it's time for me to get back closer to them.
I hear you.
Yeah, and everything. I also teach a master's program online for Concordia University, and I get quite a few coaches from the state of Texas getting their master's degrees. But in Texas, guys there play football. A lot of guys here go skateboarding.
Right.
The kids. It's just a different. It's just a lot different. We get a lot of kids out, but COVID has really taken a bite out of some of that right now. But we're just starting to get that back.
Well, let me ask you this. In Texas, to be a football coach, you've got to be an educator. You've got to have a degree. In a lot of the states, you can be a tire salesman and do it after work. How does California work?
Yeah, that's the big thing here because you got walk-ons.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of times you just don't know what you're going to have because, when I got over here, there are only two of us full-time on staff. But because of our school district and everything, we now have 7 coaches on staff, which is a big deal. And that's probably more guys on campus than any schools in the state of California.
Yeah, whereas we in Texas have a tiny school with 17 coaches on staff.
Yeah, it's like when I was
because they're teachers.
Here, if you go to an athletic period, it's probably just the head coach. When I was the head coach in Victoria, I went to my athletic period, and I had almost 24 coaches there.
Yeah.
So that is a huge difference, and football in the state of Texas, that's number one. Here might be surfing. Right.
Yeah, talk about I guess the lessons in Texas. There seems to be a lot of focus on building character, pride, poise, class, teamwork. All the things that the benefits of football. Is that as strong in California?
Yes, it is. It's just as strong here as it is there in regards to that. Good. And I know how I am. That's exactly. You walk through this door, you're going to look me in the eyes, and you're going to say good morning. You ain't going to be staring at your cell phone.
Right. I love that.
Yeah. In regards to that, it's about the same, except you've got more eyes and more hands on you in the state of Texas than you do here.
Right. And what about relationships that you've built over the years with players and coaches? What are some of those that stood out to you?
Oh, gosh. I got many of those. See, I'm a national clinic speaker for the Glacier Clinics, and I've been speaking for them for 23 years. So they've sent me all over the nation. So I've been in just about every big city in this country speaking. And, so I've been lucky. Plus, I've got a large website, especially my football forum, that has kept me connected with a lot of people, and which has been a big deal to me. So I've made a lot of friends through this, especially having coached in several different places. But because of my national clinic speaking, that has introduced me to a lot of coaches. And I try to, I stay connected with a lot of them. The new generation is coming up now, and my generation, starting to retire, except for me.
Nice. Yeah, and if you could, let's talk about that a little bit, because I first heard your name from Victoria, Texas, because I grew up outside of Victoria in Inez.
Yes.
But then later you just popped up again on the Glacier scene, and I'm like, oh, is that the same guy? I was really confused, and then I tracked it down. You've got a whole side gig going as a trainer, educator, speaker. Talk about that.
Yeah, I write. When I got my master's degree, when I talked about going back and the reason I did that, because of the little trouble there with when I was at South Houston High School, I started to change kind of the technique and everything that we were teaching. And a lot of those guys didn't buy in. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take the entire year off. I'm going back to Chico State, get my master's degree, and I'm going to do an evolution on how this is all taking place. When somebody tells me I can't do something, they're going to have better have their ducks in a row. And I write a lot of books. I've written close to 40 of them.
Wow.
And on all aspects of the game and everything. And so that has kept me in front of a lot of people and stuff such as that, because I do have a large website and everything. And, I'm still active in it. I still, last weekend I was speaking in Reno. So I've done a lot of that. One thing I liked about being about a speaker and everything, what's nice about it is when you speak in front of a lot of coaches like this, somebody's going to ask you a question that you haven't thought about. So you get to learn that before somebody out on the football field teaches you that lesson.
Nice. Yeah, I've always said the best way to learn something is to teach.
That's exactly right, And the one thing that it's done for me, when you do this, you have to be able to defend. It's like when you write. You just don't write something that you can't defend. So when you write and you speak and somebody asks you a question, you better be able to defend it. So it's just not out there throwing stuff up on the wall and see what's going to stick. It's like when I coach, I'm not going to coach something I can't fix versus worst case scenario. So when you write, that's how you have to write it. You have to write versus worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. You're going to have any credibility.
Yeah, if you could, what are your thoughts on the evolution of the high school game, where it's going, what changes, challenges you see for it?
Well, the biggest challenges, that we're facing right now is, we're living in a crazy time right now with woke and all that kind of stuff taking place.
Yeah.
We've had to deal with COVID for a couple of years there that has really taken its toll. We're starting to get back in it there for 2 years. Kids coming up through, they did nothing but sit in their bedroom.
Right.
Because we couldn't have any of that contact and everything. So it's with what we read every day and seeing the news and all that type of stuff. What do you want? What do most of these people? I don't know if they know what to believe in. And anyway, but so it's been crazy times these last few years, and and looking at where some things are headed. That's why I'm headed back to Texas.
Yeah, and what are your thoughts on some states are allowing NIL money to infiltrate at the high school level?
Talk to me about the NIL money.
Yeah, just about, like I said, allowing companies to start giving money to high school kids.
It's crazy. I don't buy into that at all. It's just like, just like college guys, geez, I think I'll take my toys and go play somewhere else next year. It's
exactly.
just like here. It's like here in California, if you were to transfer here, you had a 1 year, you had to set out for a year. Here now it's only 30 days.
Yeah. Wow.
So they're making it easy for these kids and parents. You know what? I think I'll go play over here because I don't like this coach. Next thing you know, they go over there, then they're moving again. They're teaching these kids that, there's a price to be paid when you decide to do something. For having kids trying to work through things instead of work through it and commit yourself, hey, I'll just go somewhere else.
Right. Yeah, and you'll end up with super teams, and the poor teams will not be able to compete, period.
You know what I liked about Texas is here in the state of California, our powerhouses are the private schools.
Yeah, right.
They don't play by our rules. They can do whatever they want, and they have no boundaries in regards to where kids have to go to school. you could be out on a 7-on-7 tournament, and those private school coaches are there recruiting. So it's kind of crazy, you know, because we've got some very successful Catholic schools here in the state of California. What I liked about Texas when I was there, you know, the private schools weren't really connected to the public schools. So you don't see a lot of that transfer from a public school moving over to a private school, because the big powerhouses in Texas are public schools.
Right, and that's because we have the UIL who governs that.
Yeah, see, and we don't have that here.
Yeah, crazy days, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're crazy days, let me tell you. You know, but still have my old school beliefs, and I'm going to stay that until I'm dead and gone.
I love it. So if people want to find out more about you, check out some of your books, your courses, how do they do that?
They would go to jcfb.com. That's which stands for Jerry Campbell Football.
Nice.
Yeah, and
cool.
And I get a lot of coaches because, and I share a lot as well. I mean, to tell you, someone says, "Hey, can you provide me with this and that?" I'll give it to them. I send it to them and everything, because I've just about written on every aspect in the game of football, plus through the evolution of this.
I love that. Cool. Well, Jerry Campbell, gosh, I want to thank you so much for sharing just a little bit of what's one of the most fascinating high school football stories.
Yeah, I tell you what, I've been looking forward to visiting with you, you know. I tell you what, Victoria, Texas was a great experience for me.
Nice.
Boy, what a pleasure to talk with you, you know.
Oh, you too.
Did you play Texas high school football? If you did, you're part of an elite group, the Brotherhood of Texas High School Football. All football players, past and present, who have ever suited up in the Lone Star State are eligible. Go to LoneStarGridiron.com/brotherhood. And thank you for the part you played in the greatest sport in the greatest state.
Until next time, I'm Chris Daly, and we'll see you at the game.